my next question around, offices. They're usually built with a fairly short lifespan, 15 to 30 years. So can offices really be suitable for housing, especially like many in Luton South, which are built on a ring road? They generally lack outdoor space, tend to be in locations with high noise and pollution, as you said.
So should I go first this time? Clearly, I think there are issues around PDR and the appropriateness of converting certain buildings. And I've seen some in Crawley and in other new towns where it's very questionable, I think, in terms of the quality of stuff that is being turned over. In principle, PDR is a good idea in terms of trying to allow this flexibility of space to change, but clearly you can't have a free-for-all. And you've got examples outside of city centres where accommodation is being built that just doesn't seem to be of sufficient quality for people to actually have a reasonable standard of living. So there needs to be a change in the policy generally there, I think, to prevent that. In terms of towns and city centres in particular, I think I'm wary about PDR in the centre of those places because you've got a lot of activity going in a very, very small place. Small space, which means that you'd have to have some sort of coordinating activity going on. And the ability of a private developer to flip office space into residential space may make perfect sense from that company's perspective because there's money to be made. But that might not be the right answer for that city centre as a whole. So let's say doing that sort of thing in the centre of Manchester, where actually you need to have those jobs there because it's very important in terms of the economy, but also access to jobs, etc. too, is probably not good in terms of then seeing that space disappear. So exempting city centres from PDR would be our preferred approach. We know that some places are exempted. We think all town and city centres should be exempted from PDR.
Thanks. Scott, maybe your thoughts on that?
I think I'd agree with much of what Paul said there. I think office to residential conversions can work in some instances, but clearly there are plenty of instances in recent years of shoddy conversions and substandard conversions. And what we're talking about here is reimagining town and city centres to make them desirable places to live, to work, to visit. And that would definitely be an undesirable outcome. So any conversion, you need to have those measures in place to ensure that they are of sufficient quality.
Thanks. And Mark, final.
Well, I agree with what's been said before me. And the one other thing I would say, and this is both locally and I understand nationally, is that people are wanting to move away from the city centres here and into houses with gardens or garden space available because COVID has taught them that they need somewhere to go and to sit and to breathe some fresh air. And I think the example you gave in Luton is not somewhere that I would want to live, and so I would be happy to exclude places like that. But I do think there is a role for some commercial premises to be turned into residential, but it needs to be in the right place, and I certainly think there needs to be outside space in those places.
Thanks.